With the Boys spin-off show landing with impact and introducing us to a whole new bunch of Supes that we'd never seen before. Well, other than the odd Easter egg in The Boys. It seems as though the title of Most Powerful Supe has changed a couple of times already, and we're only a few episodes in. Is it Golden Boy? Is it Sam? Is it Cate? Or is it Marie? Well, I thought I'd take a look at their powers, their strengths, along with their weaknesses and provide a definitive answer on who is the most powerful out of them all. So let's get into it. Here is who is actually the most powerful Supe in Gen V. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Luke's title of being the most powerful Supe on campus, something which we originally thought was the case, was debunked and proved wrong in the opening moments of episode 4. We heard that Sam was in fact far stronger than his brother, something which did surprise me slightly. When looking at Luke's powers, he was obviously able to utilize thermokinesis, and this was something which meant that he was on the cusp of joining the Seven. He basically had his spot guaranteed. Plus, he also had superhuman strength and also extreme durability, something which meant that he was able to withstand the attack of the powers of many other Supes that tried to hurt him. So I was surprised when they mentioned that Sam was far more powerful. This would have to mean that Sam's superhuman durability and strength would have far outweighed his brother, and also meant that he would have probably been able to have not been weakened by his brother's thermokinesis. As if that was something which would have been able to have harmed Sam, then he most definitely wouldn't have been stronger. So based on what Dr. Cardosa said to Dean Shetty, one would assume that Sam is the strongest of them all, solely based on the fact that he was stronger than his brother. And whilst that could be the case, I think there are actually a couple of other Supes at the university and within the friendship group that could be stronger than Sam, albeit maybe not in the most fashionable or glamorous of ways. But I feel they could hold powers that could bring Sam down quite easily if utilized in the right way. The first one of these Supes is Cate. Cate holds the power of persuasion, and there are hints about her potentially having other abilities and powers, such as the ability to erase people's memories and cause blank spots in their mind. A theory that has been tied to Cate following the final moments of episode 4 where it cut to black, and when Marie woke up in bed with Jordan. The reason I feel that she could be the most powerful is because I feel if you have control over the mind, you have control over the person completely. What is Sam's biggest weakness anyway? Himself. Why? Because of his mind. He has trouble being able to differentiate what is real and what isn't. He hears these voices and has these visions which essentially tell him to do the most terrible things to people. And then, when doing them, he blanks out and sees them as puppets. So the power that Cate possesses essentially enables her to tap into the minds of individuals and make them do whatever she pleases, something which shouldn't be underestimated. We saw that she caused her brother to leave and never return by accident when she was younger. We saw her use her powers on Rufus, and we also saw her use her powers on the guards, causing them to be defeated. Whilst it seems as though she can only use her powers by touching an individual and whispering in their ear, if the twist that many people are presuming is there, which means that she can essentially do it just by looking them in the eye, then that would make her the most powerful that there could possibly be, as it would mean that nobody, other than people that can't hear, would be able to resist her powers, and the persuasion that she emits. Although, I suppose an easy way to counter it would be to just wear headphones and play music, but who's going to be thinking of that in a spur-of-the-moment battle? Whilst Cate does have a strong offense, her defense is something which could prove to let her down, as she doesn't seem to have any sense of defense. Taking her powers as they are, if she wasn't able to get close to them, then it's pretty much game over. Plus, as well, if she were to use her powers too much, then she may end up passing out or having a seizure, something which does prove to be a large weakness for the character. Another option for the most powerful Supe is Marie. Marie is most definitely the least experienced when it comes to her powers and knowing how to best utilize them, but I don't think that goes against her, because the capability and potential is there. We saw that she spent most of her time following her parents' death learning how to control them, and using them when it came to a form of attack. However, there is an arm to her powers which she's yet to tap into, which I think we will see being developed in the latter half of the season. Something which I think would make her almost as powerful as Victoria Newman, also best known as the Head Popper. So instead of just using her powers as a way of releasing blood and using it how Spider-Man uses a web shooter, it very much looks as though she's on the verge of learning how to tap into the blood that is inside of a human's body, and being able to control and manipulate it from afar. If that is the case, then that would make her pretty difficult to be around, because by the time that anybody would be able to get close, she could stop the circulation of blood around an individual's body, or maybe even cause it to explode out of them, something which ties into the theory about her actually being the person that was responsible for Luke's death. We know that she was stressed and scared due to fleeing from Luke, and in the past when she was stressed a horrific thing happened, the death of her parents at her own hands, so it could be the case. Plus, with what she did to Rufus, that had a similar end result, and it was due to controlling the blood inside of him. An explosion of his you-know-what was everywhere, so that theory could end up ringing true. We saw that Marie's powers can also be used for good and in a different way, in the sense that when the individual in the bar was harmed and was losing a lot of blood, Marie was able to essentially put it back into their body and get their blood circulating around their body again, ultimately saving their life. It makes me wonder if she'd be able to do that to herself, which would mean that it could also act as an extremely strong defense, meaning that if she was ever wounded, she'd be able to heal herself quite quickly and get the blood flowing around again. From what we know and what we've seen so far, she hasn't actually got the best defense, as we saw that she dropped to the floor quite easily after Sam pulled on her blood ropes, and that's something that I imagine many other people would do quite easily. So that is what currently lets her down, as we don't know what her durability is like. It very much feels like one punch from Sam could be very damaging, whereas the likes of Andre and Jordan were able to suck up those punches and get up quite easily after being knocked down. I think with work and practice on her powers, she could most definitely be far stronger. These are the three individuals that I think are most probably the most powerful out of the Supes that we've seen so far. Jordan and Andre do have very strong powers and are extremely strong individuals, but I feel like there's no real mystery around them, and what we see is what we get. The three that I've mentioned feel like they've got a lot more to offer over the course of the season, and they're only going to get stronger. Taking all of that into consideration, it's hard. Sam is the most powerful at the moment, but I personally feel like we're going to go on to see Marie being the most powerful of them all, especially if what I said about her being able to tap into the unused abilities start coming to the forefront. So it's Sam now. I'm predicting Marie by the end of the season, with Sam as the second most powerful, with Cate following in close behind in third. So, there you have it. Who is actually the most powerful Supe in Gen V? If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. Who do you think is the most powerful? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.